What's up, Domino community? I'm Lily Hevish, and today I'll be teaching you how to build a double spiral. So get your dominoes and let's start building. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to build Disney's Moana Whirlpool based on the build guide from my brand new H5 Domino Creations Disney set. So for this project, I'm using all 200 dominoes in the set, but you can use more or less depending on how big you want to make the spiral. The first step is to make the outline of a backwards S using flat dominoes. Now to make the S a perfect backwards S, I'm going to start by placing one domino in the middle of my building surface, and then I can use two domino heights as sort of a measurement tool to make the top and bottom of the S. So if I place two domino heights above where I place that first domino, the top of the S will go here, and then if I move it to the other side, the bottom of the S will go here. And from here, now we can just connect the two. So let's place a domino like this and make the arc, and then the same thing on the other side. Now you'll notice when you make the outline, there will be natural points where everything sort of just connects. So from the middle domino, we have the two endpoints on the opposite sides, and then there's one directly in the middle on the side, and then that just kind of connects it. Now that we have an outline of the backwards S, it's super simple. All we have to do is extend the lines and keep building the spiral outward. So I'm gonna continue building the outline, and one really important tip, keep using your two domino heights as a measurement tool so that you can make sure that the distance between all of these lines are even. So as I move around the circle, I'm just going to continue moving my measurements of the two domino heights. Once you're happy with the final design, then all you have to do is replace these flat dominoes with upright standing dominoes. So I'm going to start by replacing the center domino with an upright domino. And similarly, how we created the first outline, I'm going to set up the one on either side, and then the dominoes that are perpendicular to it. These are the key points of the spiral. So as long as these look pretty good, then you should be all set to make a perfect backwards S. And from here, I'm going to set up the dominoes that are exactly 45 degrees. And from here, we can just fill in all of the gaps. The spacing should be about 1 domino thickness to 1 centimeter apart. And you might have to adjust the spacing just a little bit here and there. So it's okay if you need to shift some things over. Just make sure when you're building all of these turns that the angle of the domino isn't too sharp. You'll notice here, the dominoes are only angled just a tiny bit, and if you trace the inner and outer side of the dominoes, they make perfect arcs. And for lines that turn 180 degrees, I recommend having at least 9 angled dominoes in that turn. That'll just make sure that all the dominoes will hit the next one and won't knock out by accident. If the dominoes are angled too much, it might not topple over. So I'm just gonna continue placing dominoes inside and filling in the line. Now that the S is built, I think I'm gonna change colors and extend the line using these yellow-orange dominoes. So I'm just going to continue building like this. And as the spiral gets larger, you can always move and shift so that you're closer to the line, because you don't want to be reaching over things. Now just keep in mind as you're building the two domino height distance between each of the lines, make sure it all looks even and that you can trace a very clean arc going all the way around. And before I get too far, I definitely recommend making a couple of safety gaps. If I were to knock this down by accident, the entire project would topple over. But you can prevent that by making a safety gap and taking out 5 consecutive dominoes. So if I take out these right here, and then I take out these right here, by having a gap here, I can continue building. And if I were to knock it down, it would just stop there instead of knocking down the entire project. But you can continue building like this, and at the very end, we'll fill in the safety gaps. And now I'm going to switch to light pink dominoes, and make sure you're keeping an eye on the spacing as well, just making sure that it's consistent throughout the entire spiral. You want to make sure that it's no more than 1 centimeter apart. And now I'm going to switch to gray dominoes, and I'm going to make another safety gap, but instead of taking out dominoes, I can just skip a space like this, and then leave my 5 dominoes next to it to fill it in later. And I think I'll stop the spiral here, but if you want, you could make it larger and just keep extending all of the rings of the circle. Technically, a double spiral could be as large as you want, or it could literally just be the backwards S. But now that this is all ready, I'm going to very carefully fill in the safety gaps. So just be really mindful where your hand is, make sure your arm isn't going to knock it down by accident, and just carefully fill in the dominoes. And here you have it. This is the double spiral. And from here, you can topple it from either end of the double spiral. So I can knock it down this way or in this direction. But before I topple it, I'm gonna use my super special metallic domino featuring Disney's Moana. And this is gonna be the start domino to knock down the entire project. Let's knock this down. 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect! That was awesome! So if we topple the spiral from one end, it'll go in and then it'll spiral back out. And we call that an in-out spiral. But if you topple it from both ends at the same time, it'll spiral in and sort of chase each other until it reaches the center. And that's where we call it a double spiral. But it's really easy to make. It's literally just a line with a couple of turns, and you can make it as large or as small as you'd like. If you need dominoes to make any of these projects, definitely check out my brand new H5 Domino Creations Disney set. It is now available on Amazon, or go to heavish5.com/buy-dominoes. Big shout out to Spin Master for making these dominoes possible. And one last shout out to our featured community member, Brock's Dominoes, who has been making some incredible domino videos. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more tutorials, you can click right over here in this tutorials playlist. As always, I'm Lily Heavish, and keep on building.